crocheters! Welcome everyone to the Mary Tejidos channel. I'm Mary, and it's a pleasure for me to share with you a new tutorial for today's class. I've prepared a detailed step-by-step for an elegant, beautiful, and easy-to-make bag. Isn't this design gorgeous? We're going to be combining two of my favorite shades. Look at this! What a beautiful combination we're going to be working with. This stitch is known as the fishbone stitch. Look at the detail. I'll show you two techniques you can use so your stitch comes out looking this perfect. And the bag will have a professional finish. I invite you to stay with me until the end of the class, enjoy the process, and put it into practice. If that's the case, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. Don't forget to share this content on all your social media so that our community keeps growing and we can reach people with emotional and therapeutic needs. Crochet makes the world a better place. Now, let's go to the list of materials, followed by the step-by-step instructions. We will work with the following materials: scissors and 1 meter of chain. This one is 15 by 10 millimeters, 2 lobster clasp rings, 2 centimeters in diameter, 4 stitch markers, a magnetic clasp with spaces for sewing, a personalized plate with the channel's name. This one is optional. 4 rings and a half moon piece. These are 2 by 2 centimeters measuring tape. A 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. This will be our main needle. A 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. We will use it to weave in ends. You can get the hardware and accessories at the online store Tus and Sumos. In the video description, I will leave you the link to their shopping page. I will be working with t-shirt yarn first. This one is from Tropilo Ovilo. It's an industrial t-shirt yarn with a strand that is 3 centimeters wide. It's soft and lightweight to work with, and it gives a really good structure to our projects. If you're interested in getting it, I'll leave the link to their shopping page in the video description. You'll also find there the final weight of the bag, the final measurements of the bag, and the exact amount of material we'll be using for this project. I'm going to work on this model by combining these two shades, which are some of my favorites. Honestly, I love how these two colors look together. This one is cappuccino and this one is ivory. I'm going to start with the cappuccino. With this one, we'll work on the base up to the middle of the bag, and with the ivory, we'll continue with the top part. The strands are 3 centimeters wide. It's important that when you combine colors, the strands are the same width, so that all the stitches on the bag are even. We're going to make a slip knot, holding the hook with the tip facing down. We turn over the yarn, tighten it on this side, and look, we have a little loop on the hook. We yarn over and slide it underneath. Now we take the short end and tighten it, and here we have our slip knot. Now we're going to crochet 17 chains. We have a loop on the hook, yarn over and pull through the loop on the hook, yarn over and pull through. This way, we're going to work the chains until we reach number 17. I finished the 17 chains, and they measure 15 centimeters long. Now we're going to make one additional chain, and this will be our turning chain. For a total of 18 chains, we now start working on the first round, and we're going to do this with single crochet. We pull the chain and locate the back bumps. Here is where we're going to make the stitches. We pass the hook under the second back bump because the first one is the turning chain. Look. Here we pull it up to the height of the loop on the hook. We yarn over and pull through both. We have our first stitch and we place a marker in it. We pass the hook under the next ridge. We yarn over, lift to the height of the loop that's on the hook, yarn over again, and pull through both. We go under the next ridge and make a single crochet here, under the next one. We will continue working the stitches this way under each ridge until we get here to the second to last one. Let's do the second to last ridge. And here we'll work the last one. In this one, we'll make increases, 3 stitches under that ridge, to start shaping the oval base. So we go under the ridge, yarn over, and make the first stitch. In this first stitch, we place a marker to know that's where the increase starts. We insert the hook again into this space. We always keep the height at the height of the loop on the hook. This will help us keep all the stitches even. Yarn over and close. Insert the hook again. Remember, it's 3 times. Here we have 1, 2, and 3. In this last stitch, we place a marker again. Now we make a single crochet on this side. Look, here we have the complete chain. We're going to insert the hook under the whole chain here. We insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and make a single crochet. Then we go under the next chain. We go under the next one. We're going to make the second to last stitch here to complete 15 stitches right after the stitch where the marker is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We insert the hook under that chain, yarn over, and make a single crochet here in the last chain. We are going to work the increases just like we did on this side. Here we can see that we already have the first stitch, which is where the marker is. We are going to work under that chain. 2 stitches to complete the 3. We go underneath, yarn over, and make the first stitch here. We place the marker here. We insert the hook again and make the second stitch there. We have 1, 2, and 3. We remove the marker from this side. And we're going to close it. Pulling up this loop and passing the hook under the second chain, we count 1 and 2 from back to front, take the loop we left on the hook and pull it to the back, tighten a little here and open here. Notice that when closing the stitch, it was placed next to the previous one, so here we have 1, 2, and 3. Finishing the first round of the base with this, always make sure to organize the stitches well when you finish, so the base starts to take its shape. Here we complete the first round. We worked a total of 36 stitches, making 15 stitches before the markers. On each side and in the corners, we worked an increase of 3 and 3 stitches. We are going to start the second round, and we will work this one with centered single crochet stitches. We position ourselves here, bringing the yarn to the back and under that strand. Look, lift it up a little, and here you can see a stitch. We are going to insert the hook in the middle of this stitch, right where you see the 2 strands. Here. We look and see that it should come out at the back, in the middle of the 2 strands, underneath this little bump. There we would be making the centered single crochets. We pass the hook between the 2 strands. We check that it comes out here, under the little ridge. We place the reserved strand on the hook and adjust here. We tighten the stitch very well. We open up here on this side. We yarn over and pull through all of them. It'll be a bit tight since it's the first. Chain 1 and make the first stitch here. In this second round, here at the increase stitches, we're going to start by working 2 stitches into each stitch. That means that in this first stitch, we need to make an increase. We've already done one. We pass the hook through again. In the center of the stitch, we pull up a loop. We yarn over and close. Here, we complete the second stitch, and in this one, we're going to place the marker. Let's make the next stitch. We go through the center between these 2 strands. Let's make sure it comes out at the back, between the 2 strands. Under the bump, we yarn over. We raise it to the level of the loop on the hook. We yarn over and close the stitch. And here we have a centered single crochet. We go through the center of the next stitch. And we make a single crochet. In the center of the next one, I reach the stitch before the marker. With this one, that makes 15 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I go through the center, and I make a stitch through the center here. I remove the marker from this side, and here we will work the sequence of 2 stitches in each stitch. Now here, very good. And I locate the center of the stitch. Look, it's between the 2 strands. I go through the center. And it should come out right here, between the 2. Look there, under the little bump. I yarn over and make a single crochet. I pass the hook through again. And here I complete 2 stitches. I place the marker on the first stitch. Here, we take the opportunity to hide the yarn tail under the stitches. I locate the next stitch, the center. I make a stitch here. I go through that same space again. And I make the second stitch. We remove the next marker. And I make 2 stitches here. 1. And 2. I put the marker on the last one. I finish the increases on this side. I make a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, let's make centered stitches on this side. We will work 15 stitches until we reach the stitch before the marker. I finish the 15 stitches. We are going to work the increase here. We remove the marker. We go through the center of the stitch. Here we can open it a little bit. And look, there are the 2 strands. We go between the 2 strands. Here, this first stitch is always tight. Look, it came out between the 2. We yarn over. We pull up a loop and make the first stitch. We insert the hook again into the center of that stitch. And here we complete the second stitch. We have made the first increase on this side. We place the marker here. We're going to make the last increase. Look here where you can see the strand. We lift it up a little. And right there underneath, look, there are the 2 strands of the stitch. We go through the middle of those 2 strands, and here it comes out under the little bump. We yarn over, pull up a loop, and make the first stitch. We insert the hook again and complete the second stitch. Here we are already at the marker on this side. We remove it. We pull up this little loop and we're going to close it here. We pass the hook under the first complete chain. Keep in mind that when closing each round, you should do it under the first chain that's above the second stitch. Count 1 and 2, and on top will be the first chain. Pass from back to front, place the reserved loop, and take it to the back. Sometimes they close the round. On the first stitch, and as you go up, the bag twists. And that's because you're closing the rounds incorrectly. Look, right here, on that first chain, the little cap has already formed. See, this one forms when you close it. We place the marker here. We finish the second round here. We adjust the stitches. Here we worked a total of 42 stitches. Please check. We make 15 stitches before the markers on each side. And in the increases, we work 6 and 6 stitches. We are going to do the third and final round. We work into the strand we brought to the back. Look here. We lift it up a little bit. And there we can see the stitch. We're going to go through the center, between these 2 strands. We place the tab we set aside. We tighten the stitch. We yarn over. And we make a single crochet here. Here in the increases, we are going to work a sequence. Single crochet, increase stitch. Here where the marker is, we make an increase. Insert the hook into the stitch center. And we make a single crochet. We go through again. And we finish the 2 stitches there. 1, 2 in the center from the previous stitch. In the next one, we are going to make a single crochet. In the next one. We are going to make the last stitch. And with this, we finish the 15 center stitches. We take the marker off this side. And here, we're going to work the increase sequence. We start by making an increase. Just like we did on this side. Notice that here, the stitch that ends is an increase. It's the last one. We start with the same stitch, the same sequence. Increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet. We make the first stitch. We insert the hook again in the center of that stitch. And we complete the increase. In the next stitch, a single stitch, a single stitch. In the next one, increase 2 stitches. 1, 2. Just 1 stitch. In the next one, increase. 1, 2. We remove the marker here. And we make a single stitch. We finish the increase sequence. We work 9 stitches here. We start with an increase stitch, single stitch, increase stitch, single stitch, increase stitch, and we finish with a single stitch. We are going to work on this side, the 15 centered stitches without increase, until you reach the stitch before the marker. I finished the 15 stitches. I got here to the stitch where the marker is. Let's remove it. And at this point, we're going to start the sequence with a single crochet. Next, an increase stitch, single crochet, increase stitch. Notice that here we started with a single crochet. So here, the last stitch of the increase, notice that it's a single crochet. We finish with a single crochet. We start with a single crochet. We go through the center. We yarn over and make the stitch. In the next increase stitch, in the next one, a stitch. And here is the last one. Look, in the middle of the two, here we have one, and on this side one, we make the increase. 1 and 2, we make a chain and go under the first full chain stitch. Look, it's this one, from back to front. We place the reserved loop on the hook and move it to the back. I finished the third and last round with 48 stitches. Please check. We work 15 stitches before the increases on each side. And here at the corners, we finish with 9 and 9 stitches. When you finish the last round, arrange the stitches to start shaping and forming the base. Here's what it looks like on the back. We've already hidden the leftover yarn under the stitches, and now I'm going to give you the measurements. It is 22.5 centimeters long and 6.5 centimeters wide. If you want to make the base a little longer at the beginning, in the chains, you can add 2 at a time until you reach the desired length. And you will work the rounds with the same sequence of increases if you want the base to be a little wider. In the video description, I will leave you the sequence for rounds 4 and 5. And if you're wondering, Mari, can I work on this project with another material? Of course you can use it. You can work with whatever material you have available. It can be PIP cord, polyester cord, yarn, or macrame. What you need to keep in mind is that the measurements will vary depending on the thickness of the material you are going to work with. We're going to start making the body of the bag. This first round up the sides will be done with single crochet. We take the base, make sure we have the right side facing forward, turn it, it should be at the bottom, and the left side, make sure it's facing up. So we place the chains here, right where the join is, and we're going to insert the hook in the center of the chain. And under the little ridge that's on the back, right here, we take the top strand. And under the little ridge that's in the back, look, this one here. Mari, why do we work into this little ridge to give more structure and firmness to this first round? We pass the needle where we took the yarn to the back. Look where this little loop is, and this one has 2 strands. We open here a little. Look where the 2 strands are. We are going to pass the needle from back to front, in between those 2 strands. And here we turn like this. This is how it should look. I'll repeat it again. Look here where the little loop is that we close the stitch with. This one has 2 strands. We go from back to front, in between those 2 strands, and here we turn the needle. We place the reserved little loop on the needle and tighten it a bit. Here, we are going to tighten the strand very well, until the strand that remains at the bottom is the same size as the other chains, so it doesn't look different. We adjust it so it looks nice and tight. We yarn over, go through those 2, give it a little height here and close it. We have the first stitch here. Let's arrange it well so the yarn looks nice. There, we go through the center of the next chain and also under the little ridge that's on the back part here. We yarn over. Here we have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over again and go through both. We go through the center of the next chain and under the little ridge. This is how our stitches are looking. We are going to repeat the process in the center of each chain, all along the edge of the base, until we get to this last stitch. I've reached the last stitch. We go through the center of the chain and under the little ridge that's on the back. We yarn over and make a single crochet here. With this, we finish the first round up the side. And look how it's turning out here. We separate the base from the body of the bag with this yarn. Look, how pretty. And this is how the first round is looking. This is how the base looks. See, it's already starting to take shape upwards. Here, we're going to close the round. We lift this loop and go under the first chain. See that this one is located on the second stitch? We go underneath. We place the reserved loop on the hook and move it to the back. Here we tighten it very well and have closed this first round, finishing it with a total of 48 stitches, the same number of stitches with which we finished the last round of the base. Notice that here we don't make any kind of increase. We're going to start the second round. I want you to pay close attention to the process, because here we're going to start the stitch pattern that we'll continue to use throughout the whole project. This stitch is known as the herringbone stitch. It's a very beautiful stitch. It looks complex, but honestly, it's very easy to do. So, what are we going to do? We're going to start the round by passing the hook under the strand that we've brought to the back. Right here, where the stitch is, we pass it through the center of the stitch. We place the reserved loop on the hook, and here we tighten the yarn. Now we bring it forward and make a single crochet here. Look, this is a centered stitch. What we're going to do now is insert the hook at the base of the stitch where we made the first one. Look here, this is the stitch, and here is where we made the first stitch. We're going to go to the base here, right in this space. We yarn over, and we give it height. Here, it's important that the yarn is well organized. Let's try to make sure the yarn doesn't look twisted, but rather that it stays nice and neat, like this. We already have that first strand. Now, let's take a second strand, and we're going to do this by passing the hook through. Look, here's the next stitch. We're going to count 1 and 2, and in the next one, at the base of the stitch, we're going to insert the hook right here. Notice that we skip this stitch and work into this one. We yarn over, and we lift up. We're going to lift up to the height of the little loop that's on the hook. And notice that here we have 3 loops. We're forming a triangle here. See how it looks. We yarn over and pull through all of them. Look here where the triangle was formed. What we're going to do now is right here where we picked up the last loop. At that point, look here at the top. There's the centered stitch. We're going to insert the hook into the center of that stitch. See, it's right here where we pulled through the last loop. At that point, we go through the center. Yarn over and make a single crochet in that same stitch. At the bottom, we're going to pull the strand through again to form this triangle. So we're going to take this first strand, but we're going to do it here. We go through the base again. We take a strand that is well organized and raise it to the height of the loop on the hook. What are we going to do? we're going to take the second strand, we count 1 and 2, in the second stitch at the base. Here, not in this one, but in this one. We take the second strand and pull it up. Look, here we have 3 little loops on the hook. We're going to form the triangle by yarning over and pulling through all of them. Look here where it forms. We're going to make the centered stitch, and we're going to do it in the same spot where we picked up the second loop. We turn it a little. Look here where it is. We go through the center of that stitch. We yarn over and make a single crochet. In that same stitch, at the base, we insert the hook. We yarn over. We pull up the loop to the height of the loop that's on the hook. Don't pull it up higher, so that all your stitches are the same size. We pick up the second loop, skip 1, and in the second stitch at the base. We yarn over, and here we pull up the loop. We have 3. We yarn over and pull through all of them. We are going to make the centered stitch in the same place where we picked up the second loop. We open it a little, and there is the stitch. We go through the center. And we make a single crochet. We pass the hook through to pick up the first strand. Where we made the previous one, on that same base, we arrange the strand, and we bring it up. Let's take the second strand. We count 1. And at the second stitch, we go to the base of the stitch. We yarn over and close. We make the centered stitch. We open here and look where the stitch is. We do it there. Centered stitch. We make the next stitch. We pass the hook through the base. We take the first strand here. We skip 1 stitch, and in the next one, at the base, we take the second strand. We have 3. We yarn over and finish the stitch. We make the centered single crochet. Under the second strand, I finished stitching this side. Now we're going to work on the last 3. But first, I want to show you how the piece is coming along. Look at how this first round looks. I haven't organized the stitches. I haven't arranged them. They're just as they are. I just finished the stitches I was missing. And this is how it looks. Why do I want to show you this? Because I get a lot of comments saying, Mari, it twists for me. I work the first round of any project, not just this one, and it twists. It's normal. It's normal for it to twist like this. Because remember, we're working with a material that's fabric. And we're doing it by hand. So whenever you work around, you should always adjust the stitches. What for? So that the piece starts to take shape. Thank you. Here's the key to working these stitches so they look really nice and well organized. There are 2 things. The first is to bring the strands up to the height of the loop on the hook. This will ensure that all the loops are the same size. And the second is to make sure the strand is properly positioned, not twisted or tangled, so the stitches look nice. So this is the key to the stitch to create a piece with a professional finish. It's normal for the base to twist, but as we keep working the rounds, it will start to settle. Why? Because this is a base with a very good structure, a firm base, with well-adjusted stitches that will give the piece very good resistance. We're going to finish the last 3 stitches on this side. Look here. Here we made a centered stitch. Now let's make the next stitch. Pick up the first loop and insert here at the base. Where we made the second loop of the previous stitch, we go through the base. Yarn over, and look, here I adjust the height to match the little loop that's on the hook. I have the first loop. Now I'm going to pick up the second loop. I count one stitch and move to the next. I go to the base of that stitch. Yarn over. I lift it up. If you see that it's bent, just adjust it. Pull here and lift it up to the level of the loop on the hook. You have 3. Yarn over and close the stitch. Make the single crochet in the same stitch where you picked up the second loop. But this time you're going to do it in the center, not at the base, but in the center. Yarn over and make a centered stitch. Here we have 1 stitch left. We're not going to work this stitch. Let's do the last stitch. We take the first strand at the base of the stitch where we made the second one. Here, pull up a loop. And we go to the very first stitch. Notice that here we only have the first strand. So now we're going to take the second one to form the pattern on this side. We pass it over there to the base. Yarn over. And pull up a loop. Look, the stitch stays in the center. We yarn over and pull through both. Here we form the last triangle. So here we're not going to make the stitch down here because look, here's where the centered stitch goes, right in between these 2 stitches. Let's make the join. Let's pull up this loop. And we go under the first chain stitch. Here. Notice that the chain stitch is the one on top of the strand. It's not this stitch, no. It's the one on top of the long strand, this one. You go from back to front. You take the reserved loop. Put it on the hook and take it to the back. Tighten it well here. And look how this stitch formed just like the other stitches. That means this is a perfect join. This is how we're going to close all the rounds. So this is how our first round with the herringbone stitch pattern turned out. Look how beautiful it is. Let's start the second round. We're going to insert the hook in the center of the stitch where we brought the yarn to the back. Look, right there where the stitch is. You go through the center. Center. It should come out here, in between the 2 strands. Right there. And underneath the little mound. Put the loop you set aside on the hook. Tighten the stitch very well. Yarn over. You can pull through and do it. In the first stitch. We continue the process, but this time we're going to take the first strand. Not in the long strands of the stitch below, but here in the stitch that's in the center, between the 2 strands. Notice that here we made the first stitch, so at the base of that stitch. Right down here, here. Let's take the first strand. And at the base of the next stitch, you locate the centered stitch here. Here at the base, you're going to take the second one. Now, you'll be picking up the strands at the base of that centered stitch. Look at it here. Now, it's much easier to identify them because we can see them clearly there. We pass the hook through the base of the centered stitch. Since this is the first one, it's a little tight here. We yarn over. We chain up. And make sure it's well organized.
Why?
The height should be level with the loop on the hook. We pass the hook through the base of the centered stitch. Look, this is the next one. Here are the 2 long strands, and here is the stitch. We pass it through the base. We yarn over. And we pull up a loop. We have 3 little loops on the hook. We yarn over and pull through all of them. Here we've made the first stitch of the second round. we'll work the centered stitch. In that same stitch, we twist the yarn a little bit, and we locate the center of the stitch, which is the one right up here. Look here where the 2 strands are. Here. You pass it through the center, and you should come out here at the back. Open it a little. Pass it through the center of the stitch. Yarn over, and make a centered stitch there. Let's make the next stitch. We go through the base of the stitch where we picked up the second strand. There, we're going to make the first one. We go through the base. We yarn over, and we pull up a loop. We place the next centered stitch, and we go to the base of the stitch. Notice that it's the one at the bottom, here. This is the base. And up here is the center of the stitch. Here we take the second strand. And up here we make the centered stitch. We go to the base and take the second strand. We pull up a loop. Make sure the hook stays straight. We have 3. We yarn over, and we go through all of them. We make a centered stitch. We finish the second stitch here. Let's do the next one. We take the first strand. At the base where we finished the second strand of the previous stitch, that is, this one, here, at the same base. We position the strand. And here we pull up a loop. We pass the hook through. At the base of the next centered stitch, we close the stitch. And we do it here. Centered stitch, stitch. We make the next stitch. We go to the base, the same stitch, and we take the first strand here. We work the second strand. We close the stitch. And here we make a centered stitch. And this is how our stitches look in this second round. See, the process isn't difficult. It's actually quite simple. That's why I want you to pay close attention, so you don't get confused later. So here we're going to repeat this sequence all along the edge of the piece until we reach the last 3 stitches again. I finished the stitches here on the second round. We're going to do the last ones to finish. We pass the hook through. Here at the base of the stitch where we worked the previous strand. We pull up a loop. We move on to the next stitch at the base. We pull up a loop. We have 3 and we close the stitch. We make a centered stitch. And here we're going to make the last stitch. We take the first strand at the base. And we're going to take the second strand here at the starting point, here at the first one. Here we pull up a loop. We yarn over and pull through all 3. Here we finish the last stitch. We're going to close it. We pull up this loop. And we pass the hook under the first chain. Look, it's the one that's on top of the long yarn. We put the reserved loop on the hook. And we move it to the back. Look at how the stitches look. The threads are well organized. The pattern is really pretty. We are going to continue working on the same pattern. In the same way, you will start and finish the rounds just as I have shown you. Here, you will start the third round just like we started the previous one. Insert the hook through the center of the stitch. Place the reserved loop. Tighten it. You have to tighten it very well. Yarn over. And make a single crochet. At the base of the previous stitch, you're going to take the first strand. Since it's the first one, it will always be tight. Yarn over. Pull up a loop. And the second strand you will take at the base of the next stitch. And pull up a loop. And close it. Look, this is the first stitch of the third round. Work it here, then insert into the center stitch. So, in this way, we will continue working the rounds until we reach halfway up the piece. So, I'm going to keep working, repeating this same pattern until I reach the desired height. I've reached the desired height. Look how the piece looks. See how the stitches are well organized. The stripes are well defined, and all the strands are the same size. Here, I worked 8 rounds with the stitch pattern. And the first round we worked in single crochet to start going up. That would be a total of 9 rounds. I'll explain how you can identify them. You're going to position yourself here at the first triangle, and you're going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds. Look at the difference in the piece as we've been adding more rounds. Now, the base doesn't twist anymore. It has a very good shape, very good structure. I also want to show you here where we've made the joins and started each round. Look, the piece doesn't have a seam and the closing stitch looks just like the other stitches. On the inside, look, it also doesn't have a noticeable seam, and the fabric on the inside is also very pretty. If you want to make the bag in a single color, you just keep working the rounds until you reach the desired height. So far, we have 9.5 centimeters in height. Go to the last round where we made the join. We pull out this loop, and here we cut the yarn. We pull out. Now it's closed off. Let's do it. And we're going to pass the needle under the first chain, grab the yarn tail we set aside, and pull it to the back. Here we're going to finish off by simulating a chain, passing the needle through the center of that last chain. Huh? We place the yarn on the needle and pull it back. We're going to adjust the chain until it's the same size as the previous one.
Nice.
And we're going to hide this leftover yarn under the stitches. We can use a smaller needle to help us. And this is how we're going to hide all the other yarn ends in this project. Now we're going to add the ivory color, and you can work this into any of the single crochet stitches on the piece. I'm going to start here on the side. What are we going to do? We're going to insert the needle into the center of the stitch. It has to be a single crochet, so we insert it into the center. We pick up the yarn and leave a little piece to hide underneath the stitches. We make the first stitch there. We're going to work the stitch as we've been doing. We'll pick up the first strand by inserting the needle at the base of this first stitch. We lift up and now pick up the second strand by inserting at the base of the next single crochet. Look here, we insert at the base. We yarn over and pull up a loop. Now we have the 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all of them. Now we make a single crochet. Remember, this stitch is a centered stitch, so we insert into the center of the stitch where we picked up the second strand. And we make the stitch there. We repeat the process. We take the first strand, passing it through again. Here is where we take the second strand. We move on to the next stitch. We finish the stitch. We locate the center here. And we make the stitch. We take the first strand here. On this side, the second one. Arranging the strand very well. We're going to make the last stitch here. We take the first strand. We arrange it very well here. We take the second strand. And here we add height. We close. And we finish this first round. Look at how the color change turned out. Look how beautiful it is. The whole process is the same as we've been doing. We're not doing anything differently. See how easy it is. Here, we're going to close it up. We start the next round. Look, you start and finish it the same way. Here, we make the first stitch. Here's how the color change is turning out. We are going to continue working the rounds this way until we complete 8 rounds. Or you can make it a little taller if you want. I finished working the piece to this height. Look at how the stitches look. I love how the combination of shades looks here at the join. Here, you can combine 3 or more shades, and you can decide the height for each color. Here, in the ivory shade, I worked 1 color for 9 rounds, because I wanted to give the piece a little more height. Here we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 for a total of 19 rounds, including the first round as well, using single crochet. I'm going to give you the height measurements. In the ivory shade, we have 10 centimeters. And for the whole piece so far, we have 18 centimeters. We are going to make 2 handles that we will attach to the bag with a round of single crochet. We will do this at the end. But here we are not going to cut the yarn coming from the skein so we can work continuously. What are we going to do? Are we going to pull from the center of the skein? Since I'm working with a spool, what I did was pull out the inner part, and that's the strand I'm going to work with. We're going to make the handles with slip stitch. Before starting, we're going to leave a strand of about 30 centimeters to attach the half moon ring. We start by making a slip stitch. And we're going to crochet 30 chains. I finished the 30 chains, and they measure 25 centimeters long. If you want to make the handle longer, here you can work more chains until you reach the desired length. We turn the chain and we'll work on the back, where the bumps are. Here. We start on the second bump, go underneath, yarn over, pull up, and here we're going to slip the first loop into the one we already had, and we go under the next one, yarn over, and here we slip. Under the next one, yarn over and slip. This is the whole process we're going to do. This is how the slip stitches look. We're going to work one slip stitch under each bump until we reach the last one. I reached the last bump. We go under and make a slip stitch here, make a turning chain, and turn the piece. Here we can see the full chain. We're going to insert the hook into the center of the chain, picking up the strand that's on top. Here. We insert the hook into the center of the second chain, yarn over, and slip through. In the center of the next one. Here. We make the last stitch here. And with this, we finish the handle. If you want to make it wider, you keep working the rows until you reach the desired width. Here, we're going to cut the yarn, leaving 30 centimeters on this side as well. We pull out a long tail. It's 23.5 centimeters wide, 2.5 centimeters. Let's place the half moon ring with the oval part on the handle. And we're going to sew it with a yarn needle. We're going to do this by wrapping around. We pass the needle through the ring. And underneath here, through the first chain from back to front. We arrange the yarn so it sits neatly and pass it again through the ring. Down here. We tighten it very well. We pass it through again. Here, from back to front. Under this chain stitch. We go through again. We adjust it. Now, we go under the chain stitch on this side. We go through again. This is how the seam looks now. We're going to hide the yarn tail. Here, you'll do it following the pattern of the round, making sure it's unnoticeable. We pass it under here. Once you reach the little tip at the bottom, before cutting the yarn tail. You're going to secure it with a drop of silicone or a simple stitch. This is to keep the yarn tail from coming loose later. We cut off the excess here, and we hide the tip. This is how the seam looks now. Look how the ring looks. We're going to repeat the same process on this side. I've already put the ring on this side. This is how the handle looks. I'll show you the length with the rings. It ends up being 30 centimeters long. We'll crochet another handle like this one, with the same measurements. I've already made some progress here. Look, I made the handle exactly like the previous one. When working on the chains, try to maintain the same tension, so that both of them end up the same size. Now we're going to attach the handles. Here, you can choose where you want to place them. If you want it closer together here, or more spread out, that depends on the length of the handle. Let's adjust the bag so the stitches don't end up crooked. And here, look, we have 2 stitches. On this side, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And at the 7th stitch, let's place a marker. After the marker, let's count 11 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We place the next marker here. After this marker, we're going to count 13 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We place another marker here. We leave it on this side. 11 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And here from this marker, after the stitch at the marker, to the next marker, we should have 13 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We already have the markers well placed. Please check. From this marker to this one, here we should have 14 stitches. In the center, 10 unmarked stitches. And from this marker to this one, 14 stitches. We add the 10 on this side for a total of 48 stitches. We position ourselves at the stitch where we closed the previous round. We are going to start this round with a single crochet. We pass the hook under the strand that we brought to the back. We place the reserved mesh onto the hook, and we tighten it. We yarn over. We go through both and do it here. The first stitch, we go under the next chain and make a single crochet here. Under the next one. And here. Here, where the marker is, we're going to place the first handle. We're going to place it with the right side oriented properly. Look, you can see the stitches on this side. And here, look how it turns out. This is the back side. So the handle should look like this with the right side, facing up. And when it goes down, the left side should be here. So we're going to place it like this. We remove the marker here. We pass the hook through the ring. And under the chain that's in the back, we make a single crochet there. We go under the next chain, okay? Here in the next one. So, we're going to work single crochet until we reach the next marker. We've reached the stitch before the marker. And here we're going to place the ring now, so that this stays right above this line. We place it here. We remove the marker here. We pass the hook through. inside the ring and under the stitch. We make a single crochet here. We go under the next one, and two, and look how the seam of the handle turned out. Now we're going to work single crochet under each chain stitch until you reach the stitch before the marker here. Reach the stitch that is before the marker. Here we work the stitch. Remember that on this side we are going to work over the line that is above the marker. So we start the first and the second on this side. Here we position the half moon piece. And we remove the marker. We go through the center and under the chain. And we make a single crochet in the center and under the next chain. We continue on this side, working single crochet. We continue until we reach the stitch before the next marker. We reach the stitch before the marker, place the ring on this side, and go under that stitch. We make a single crochet here and a single crochet in the next one. Notice that this one is placed on top of the line so that both are even. Here on this side, we continue working single crochet. We make the last stitch here, and we're going to work around with slip stitch to give the edge a better finish. We insert the hook in the center of the next chain. See that we're going to work it continuously. Insert it in the center and yarn over. We have two. We're going to slip the first one into the one we already had. See how it looks. We insert in the center of the next chain, and here we slip in the center of the next one. Try to give the stitch some height so it doesn't start closing up the bag. We'll make the final stitch here. We cut the yarn on this side. We pull it out. We're going to finish off by simulating a chain stitch. We insert the needle under the second chain. We count 1 and 2 from back to front. We grab the yarn. We take it to the back. And here we're going to go through the center of the last chain. We take the yarn and we bring it to the back. We tighten this yarn very well. Look here at how nice the closure looks. Now, let's hide the yarn under the stitches like we've done before. We're going to attach the magnetic clasp. We take the thicker part. We arrange the bag, placing it in the center, underneath the round of single crochet. We place the clasp here very well, and we will sew it with a needle and nylon thread. This is 30 gauge. The process is very simple. You are going to sew back and forth, just like when you are attaching a button. The most important thing about this process is that the stitching shouldn't be visible on the front side. So you are going to make at least 3 stitches in each space until the clasp is well secured. Then you repeat the process with the piece on the front side. I finished sewing the clasp. Look how securely it's attached. Here, I'll show you as well. I took the opportunity and attached the decorative plaque. I placed it here in the center. You can put it anywhere on the bag. We finished the whole process of making the bag. Let me show you the final result. Look at how beautiful this bag is. All the details of the stitch, the finish of the piece. Look at how spacious it is. The bag ended up weighing 610 grams. That's all the material I used in the process. I'm going to give you the final measurements. The height is 20 centimeters, including the handles. It's 30 centimeters wide at the top. 26 centimeters. Wide at the base. 24 centimeters. We've reached the end of the class. Thank you for staying with me until now. I hope you've enjoyed the whole process and that you put it into practice. If that's the case, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. See you in the next tutorial. God bless you. Bye.